I think you make a great point, and like, I mean, it is just so tricky because listen, I'm not even Jewish. Everybody thinks I'm Jewish, so I get all the anti-Semitism. Right? So like it's real.
None of the benefits.
I don't get any of the IQ. I don't get any of the hedge fund access. I just get the anti-Semitism, you know? So it's like, so it is out there. It is 100% real. And I think that there's obviously tons of people who are anti-Semitic. I think there's also tons of people who like really feel for what's happening in Gaza. And then they conflate like believing Israel should exist with believing you should just keep bombing Gaza. And I think it's hard for a lot of people to even like separate that issue. Like we're all sitting here right now and we're just going like, hey, this has been going on for 2 years. It's rubble. There are kids dying. There are adults dying. Like it's not just kids. It's like everybody's fucking dying. So that needs to stop. You could think that, but also be like, I don't think that we should fucking attack Jews in this. Like there's videos of people just chasing around Hasidic Jews. Is it funny? Yeah, but it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's not funny. But yeah, there has to be a space. You know, there has to be a space for that.
I need to see the video before I decide if it's funny or not. The jury's out.
No, there has to be a space for the conversation, and we can't just immediately throw around anti-Semitism whenever people disagree about an independent nation's policy that we are actually supporting, right? So yeah, what do you think the best way to handle that is? Do you guys get criticism when you take a hard line on that? Like what is
the head of the ADL called me an anti-Semite in a New York Post op-ed like a week ago.
For saying what?
Because I said that Bibi Netanyahu had dragged the United States into war with Iran. I said Trump got forced.
He got duped.
Right?
He got duped.
I mean, right. Netanyahu started a war, and he knew that to blow up the Fordo facility, he needed the U.S. to do it for him. So I'm not sure, like, that just seems like a statement of fact. He decided, this guy Jonathan Greenblatt decided that was anti-Semitic. And what upsets me about that is it is weaponizing a very serious problem, which is anti-Semitism in this country, to try to silence your political opponents. And it makes me viscerally angry because my daughter goes to a Jewish preschool, and when I drop her off, I go through like 6-7 layers of security guards, guys with guns, right? Like I understand on a personal level, like where this fear comes from in the Jewish community. The suggestion that me criticizing Trump or Bibi's Iran policy makes me an anti-Semite makes me so angry that like I want to lash out about it, right? And so
it also numbs people to the word, and it's not a word we should be numb to.
Yes.
And people should be able to figure out the difference between like criticizing a government and criticizing a policy and criticizing people's religion and their ethnicity. I mean, even like when, you know, it always bothers us when you criticize Trump and then Trump and some MAGA people try to be like, oh, you're anti-American. You hate America if you criticize me. It's like, no, I fucking love America. I just don't like you running it, you know? Like that is this. I mean, it's similar to the criticism of Israel. Like I think the Israeli government's making a horrible mistake. You know, I think it's been a fucking catastrophe. But also like people have to have, I also think, principles that are universal. So it's not hard to say like, yes, the killing of innocent civilians, men, women, and children is horrific, no matter who does it. Treating people differently because of what they believe, whether they're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, whatever, is wrong. It's just like wrong across the board. And you should just be able to like, if you're going to have a principle that and feel that strongly about it, it just has to be universal and has to be across the board.
There's a sentiment, I think that's like beautifully said. And I think that's what most people actually feel. And I think what often happens is when you throw around these pejoratives, like when you call everything anti-Semitism, when it's really not, it's like a criticism of government. You'll keep talking about it, right? Because you guys have a platform. You also like maybe will deal with the slander or whatever it is. Most people won't. Most people got a regular job and they're like, I don't want that label. And then they just be quiet. And then what it does is it forces the conversation to the extremes, who are the people that don't care if you call them anti-Semites because they're like, yeah, I'm an anti-Semite. They just say it blatantly. So now Nick Fuentes is the one controlling the conversation on something that should be a lot more nuanced, probably. So I wonder why Greenblatt doesn't see this. I mean, he's got to be aware of what the downstream effects of using that word far too much are.
I think there is a belief that you can silence critics and police their speech. And I think conversations around Israel-Palestine have been some of the most policed conversations and policies in Washington for a very long time. And like someone like me or John or Ben Rhodes, a guy I do a foreign policy podcast with, like we would be excommunicated from that city if we ever tried to get like a Senate confirmed job again because of comments like this. And a lot of like kind of careerist strivers in Washington see that, they clock it, and they kind of, you know, play within the 40-yard lines. And I think that's a huge problem because it leads to policy blind spots.
I think that is a big optics problem for Democrats in that I think there's a certain underlying moral superiority within the Democratic Party, that we are the morally superior party. But then we see you be very silent on these atrocities, not you guys, but like these institutional Democrats. And I think a lot of moderate people are very put off by, you're telling me you're so morally superior, but you're clearly for sale and have an agenda. And that makes me very put off by this entire party.
Well, and this goes back to when Andrew got criticized for this is what you voted for, which is it's this feeling that like, obviously Trump is bad. Obviously his policies are bad. Everyone should know that. Everyone should know that he's a racist, horrible, whatever. And if you don't, then fuck you. Then you deserve what you get. Yeah. And like that might be satisfying to certain people personally, but it's not going to move the ball forward. And like we got to think like, what's our ultimate goal here? Is our ultimate goal to just be like right on the internet?
It's so selfish.
Or is the goal to like pass policies that we deeply believe in that are going to improve people's lives? Because if that's the goal, then we're going to need to have a bigger coalition than a bunch of like white liberals.
Yeah, I've never.
What we're down to.
It's just so selfish, and it's just like it's clicks, views, attention, pats on the back, but it gets you nowhere. There's no like, what about the midterms? What about the election?
Yeah, I mean, in that same conversation where you're like criticizing Trump, you're also tacitly encouraging the DSA. And like, if you're someone that is a fan of Mamdani, they see someone like you, like encouraging, like, you know, Democrat socialists, like, why would they not jump all over that and say, finally, okay, we got this guy on our side. Like he's coming around to what we believe in our agenda, and instead letting their ego get in the way. It's just like such terrible policy.
I've never seen.
I don't know. I feel like there are people that grift all over the place, right? But like it is the equal and opposite grift. Like there's the Trump grift for sure. Everything Trump does is right, and you go along with everything he does, and he's playing 4D chess and all this. And then there's the everything Trump does is wrong grift, and you get the same views, but it's not real. Right? You satisfy that like primal urge in people. And I understand people are frustrated. I get it. That's totally fine. Like I'll meet you where you are emotionally 100%. But I don't like this claim that they're actually trying to like make the world a better place and they actually care about where this goes.